Okay, wow, are you guys happy? You have asked me how to refinish kitchen cabinets, how to paint them, so I decided to tackle that for you guys, kind of reluctantly, because this is one of the DIYs that is going to upgrade any kitchen and be a little bit more on the budget-friendly side than Reno or Demo, but let me tell you, you're gonna have the buffest arms by the end of it. So let me just bring you through the process of how Miss Rachel Metz does kitchen cabinets. Okay. Whoa, we're low today. Let the record show. Cold carb, told you guys, huge fan. Face looking like a snake because I got a chemical peel, so deal. And it is currently 12:06, Friday, November 6th. That would have been better if it was 11:06. We're gonna get this show on the road for painting kitchen cabinets, and I wanna really time dock it so you guys know how long it took me while having to film and load up on cold carbs. So let's get started. My rat tail is extra long today, and it has no care in the world. What podcast should we listen to? Murder mystery all day. Okay, continue.
Crime junkies, you're always
We are going to start the clock just really quickly for you to see that it takes just a fairly amount of decent time to take the cabinet fronts off, the drawer fronts off, the hardware off. So even when you're just starting this whole debacle of redoing your kitchen cabinets that you guys have been blowing me up for, it is not the funnest thing. I am just going to forewarn you, it kind of sucks. Something that I recommend you guys do is really take into account what is the situation of your current kitchen cabinets. Right here, you can see the wood grain. So I know this is gonna sound a little bit weird. For people that don't know, there is a sealant on top of that. You can't just paint over that. It's gonna make the paint scratch off so easily. So for my cabinets, I'm gonna have to go ahead and do the dirty work of sanding it down, but I'm gonna go ahead and recommend sanding down any cabinets you're about to refinish because you need to have that paint be able to stick to the wood grain and like soak into it. That way it isn't easily scratched off, and when you're like walking through the kitchen, you accidentally doink a door, like the paint doesn't just fall off, chip off, and then you're back to square one redoing your kitchen cabinets yet again. I'm tapping out, you guys, just for a moment. My shoulders are so sore, and I totally did this, not backwards, but I did it in a Rachel fashion where I'm like, this will take me literally 2 days. I'm learning tack on 2 days to anything I say. So I shopped and pulled everything off the hinges one day. I should have done TSP yesterday, but I was just too tired. And then today I thought do all the TSP, all of the sanding, all of the prep for the interior, like the interior of the kitchen, and then the cabinet fronts today, which I'm almost done. I probably have like roughly 3 hours of work. And then I'm just gonna make sure these are nice and debris free. And then the third day, tomorrow, I'm just gonna paint it, hopefully, but everything takes longer than I anticipate. So I'm gonna paint everything, sand in between layers to get it nice and perfect for the kitchen to kind of be back to normal on Monday. I do think that if you're gonna do this, you should break it down into 5 days first, completely do your research, and just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into with your size of kitchen, because everybody's kitchen is going to be different. The finishes are going to be different. So dive into that day one and make a list and like look at your kitchen and make sure it makes sense. Day two would be the shop, the prep, and the pool, which I would shop for all the things that I didn't have. I would make a cleaning area or like a sanding area if you didn't already have it, or a workshop, and then I would also pull everything off of the hinges. And I would start to clean everything with TSP because it is a fairly easy step. So that would be 2 days. And then I would break doing the cabinet fronts and the actual kitchen, like sanding and getting it to the point where the paint could take is, I would break that down into 2 days. I'm trying to do it all in one day. That's okay. I don't have kids. I don't got a man. I just got a dog that stares at me every 30 seconds. So that's fine for me to deal with. But again, you want to make sure that when you're doing kitchen cabinets or just painting a project in general or sanding it down, and it's going to take a while, I'm learning tack 2 days onto it. It always takes longer than you think. So I'm going to take a little bit of a breather, get my stamina back up, and come out and finish this in like the cute little lights that we have going on back here. Okay, this is happening. I'm chilly. It's like super windy, rainy on and off, and this California girl is not used to it. So I'm gonna move my shed shop into the garage because it's a little bit more warm, and yeah, just because I want to be more cozy for today. So I'm gonna move the workshop in here. The lighting's gonna be a little bit off, but let's get creative with tackling these kitchen cabinets. It's like the perfect weather to do this, to stay indoors and snuggle up, but also do a really productive project, which I love. This is the most amazing thing. Day one is done. We just sanded everything down to prep for right now. I'm gonna pull all my materials, which I've listed down below for you. TSB to be a heavy duty cleaner before we paint, chemical resistant gloves that I can reuse, stripper to strip everything down that I might not have gotten when I sanded, and after wash to ensure that all the schmeg is off. It isn't my way or the highway, but whatever you do use for your method to redo your kitchen cabinets, please read the directions thoroughly. Then grab yourself some tape. Why do I need tape? Why did I throw this in here? You need tape later, not now. Grab these 3M finishing pads, throw on your chemical gloves, mix up your TSP, and let's get this show on the road, people. I wrote out a blog post actually on tips, tricks, and other mishaps that happened that I might not have included in this video. So if you want to go head over to Babe Space, I've linked that down below for you. But let's just move forward with how sore my shoulders are becoming the more we do these cabinets. And this is a fairly small kitchen. Keep in mind we have already sanded down like the flat surfaces before with my orbital sander. I'm going into TSP to get all the grit and gross and grime off of it. And it's really interesting when you use that rough stripping pad by 3M and you thoroughly just go in and scrub-a-dub-dub these things, how much schmeg comes off. That's just from one pass from my first cabinet front that I did with TSP. I continued that for the remainder of the kitchen. Fun fact again, your arms are just gonna keep getting more buff and buffer. Personally, something that I don't typically do is ask for help. I'm getting a lot better at it, but this is a situation that I should have asked for help from the get-go. Even Holly offered, and I was just like, no, it's totally cool. I got it, because this task doesn't seem that hard, but looking back, absolutely not. I'm gonna need a helper moving forward. You want to be cleaning out your like TSP dirty water as much as you can. I probably cleaned it out 3 times in total when doing the TSP passive cleaning the fronts of these things. And then once I was done with that, I went in with some clean fresh water and a rag and made sure that all that TSP was completely off of those fronts before moving on to the next step, which is stripping it. I moved everything to one tabletop. That way I could spray the stripper on everything all at once. Wow, that was not repetitive, but that is what I did. I have never used spray stripper before, and I just thought this might be an easier way to go about finishing the kitchen cabinets in Holly's house since there wasn't any paint or anything crazy on it. That is why I am now adding stripper after I've sanded, done the TSP. It's kind of like the final frontier to remove all the sealant. The instructions on the stripper that I am using said to wait 15 to 30 minutes, so I gathered some other materials that I haven't seen people do, but I thought would save me a little bit of time. So I picked up a paint scraper with some extra blades and some finishing sponges to get into those corners. And my thought process was if I could scrape the majority of the sealant off, that could save me from sanding, I guess. I'm not sure where my brain was going with this. These do look a little bit crusted and dusted with a stripper on them, but I grabbed the paint scraper and just kind of went to town until I started to feel the grain of the wood. Now, I know that some people are going to come at me for this right here, but in my opinion, look how much came out with the paint scraper versus just sanding for 4 more days. So that is why I used the paint scraper and went in with the sanding sponges for those corners. Now, the reason I am not using Citrus Strip like you've seen me use before is because it has failed me every time in numerous places, and that is why I just decided to do the brute force that I typically do in all my makeovers with this paint scraper situation. Maybe that sanding sponge is a little bit too aggressive and can't get into those nooks and crannies. You can always switch to like a finishing sanding pad, which is a little bit more bendy, or you can even do a toothbrush or an old toothbrush, a bristle brush to get right on in there. I went ahead and leaf blowed these as well to make sure all the dust and debris was gone as much as possible. Oh my God, my hands. Hi, let me tell you something. I know I'm not in focus and I look crazy. My hands have never been so sore. You guys, I hysterically cried last night because of the amount of work I'm doing. So this hurts so bad. How to use these suckers. The reason you want to consistently change out your afterwash, I'm going to show you why. This residue is exactly what you don't want to be putting back onto these, because that's what we're trying to be taking off. So the minute you see this building up, it's just residue from the sanding pad and dust and debris you're getting off. You're going to want to go ahead and dispose of it. And then I like to swish and dump. And then if that's not enough, I'll grab a paper towel and rinse it clean. But I don't need to add another bowl because I'm actually done with these. So now that this is done and ready to paint, let's repeat the same exact process inside. There, ready? And a little bit of a story time. Number one, I film everything in detail for you so I can then plow through like the tediousness of this. So this will be a time lapse. Number two, it is freezing in this house because last night Holly and I were trying to fix a GFI cable or outlet over here, which we ended up doing. It was so ridiculous how long it took to get it to work, but when we got that outlet to work, it then shut off all of these outlets, which shut off the air conditioning, so there's no heat. And I'm freezing, and this is a heated jacket, but I misplaced the heating thing. So I'm in a bit of a pickle, but I know this will warm me up. Also, I just wanted to talk to you guys, say hi, hello. And that is why I thought I was gonna TSP and clean last night, but the outlet and the electricity situation held me up tremendously. So now we're gonna try to plow through this, get this all done, started to get painted, and then hopefully set everything on Monday so it can be done. But this definitely is like a 4, if not 7 day job because I don't have kids, I don't have any interruptions, and it's taking me almost 4 days now. Let's get to work. Oh, also, I can't even believe the reason that I'm filming this is to tell you this right now after like filming all those angles and all of the things that you need to know to paint these, to prep to paint these. This is where my Acorn comes out, honestly. I put my laptop down and I just plow through a series. I love plowing through series when I have tedious work to do. It makes it so much more fun, so thank you, Acorn. When it comes to the 3 S's I say during tedious work such as this, it comes to a good sip, a good snack, and a good series, and that is something that Acorn has me covered with. Acorn TV is home to sophisticated and artful storytelling rooted in British television. Right now, I completely plowed through Gold Digger, and it definitely took a turn that I was not expecting, so fun fact, if you do have Acorn TV or want to check it out, highly recommend. With Acorn TV, you get access to premium commercial-free international content, all for an unbeatable price of just $5.99 a month. You can find top-notch performances from TV favorites including David Tennant, Olivia Colman, Sandra Oh, and Thandie Newton. Acorn TV also works on all your favorite devices. You can download the app or watch online via Apple and Android devices, Amazon Fire TV, Google, Chromecast, Roku, and even more. You'll never run out of content because Acorn TV adds new releases every single Monday. You can choose from thousands of hours of exclusive originals and deep cuts you won't find anywhere else. If you want to escape to Britain and beyond without leaving your seat, try Acorn TV free for 30 days by going to acorn.tv and use code METZ. I've also included the link down below and my promo code for reference. Thank you so much to Acorn TV for sponsoring today's episode and helping me get through this portion of the DIY. With a good scene on from Acorn TV as I just walked you through, I continued with painting the exterior of the cabinets, and that is where the tape comes in handy. So funny that I threw it in earlier. I do recommend in between coats, or like right after you're finished completely painting either the cabinet fronts or the kitchen portion, that you go in with a dry brush and make sure you clean up any drip marks. And then after it actually dries overnight, you can come back in with a fine grit sandpaper and even sand some of the bumps and maybe hair or debris that got stuck in it. After my ego calmed down and I could return back to the cabinet fronts, that is where you see me moving forward with a small foam roller and using the same color we've been using since the beginning from part 1 kitchen makeover. And again, I've linked everything down below for you guys. Nothing fancy, just going in with a trim brush now to do all of the edging, slowly but surely. And then these guys don't pop off, so I'm just gonna paint directly underneath them. And then just touch up the little areas that the roller didn't get. And now that it's daytime, I can see any blemishes and I can sand down. And yeah, and to be honest, I have a lot of work to do at Holly's, so I want to finish that all up. So I'm going to leave the interior to her to finish. If she wants to paint it a different color or do whatever, I'm going to morpho, I think that's a word. More so focus on the cosmetic exterior for her. And if she wants to detail on the inside, totally her gig. I do have to warn you, if you are painting in different lights consistently, you want to make sure that you're stepping back and seeing where that paint might be a little bit faint, because sometimes it looks like there's full coverage, but depending on night or if the lights are on your kitchen, daylight, it will vary. So just be very, very thorough. Thorough is the word, or thorough is key this DIY. But isn't my knight in shining, or what is it? Woman warrior in DIY, Miss Woodbrain. Here she comes to save the day. She always texts me that she's here. Partner in DIY, here to save the... I look like a hot mess. Woodbrain to the rescue, per usual. We were able to just speed this up exponentially, which was so much fun. And it was nice for her to be doing the tediousness and the things that have been making my arms so sore that I was getting so over, like adding the final coat to the cabinet fronts as I just go through and fix the drip marks. It was really nice to have not only my best friend there, but also just to have someone to relieve the negative energy when it would get built up. I'd get so frustrated with something. She'd be like, it's fine. It's just paint. It's just cabinet fronts. So that's another fun tip for you guys when you're doing cabinet fronts. Don't try to take it on alone. I wanted to tell you this at the end, so it kind of naturally blends into part 3. I am going to be taking down 2 cabinets because we are going to be finishing the kitchen makeover, and I'm going to explain in lengthy detail and great lighting, might I add, right about now. So this whole like starting the kitchen, part 2, the kitchen, painting the cabinets, part 3 will be the actual makeover. Holly told me I could rip these out, so it's gonna save me a lot of time not painting these. But I'm gonna also donate them. Where you stuck? There. Up there. Gosh, God. Well, there she blows. It's always scary to see what's behind. Gosh, it feels so much bigger, and I can make the shelf so much longer because she doesn't want drapes there, since we're going to be building the privacy fence that are blocking this window, and that door to the public. So she wants to extend the shelves all the way out to here. Gosh, this makes me so happy. You have no idea. Cabinets have always bothered me. And actually, a lot of you have been saying on the start of the kitchen makeover that the cabinets are too low. Like, I'm 5'8", and I can almost touch the ceiling. Like, they are small ceilings. This I can full touch, I'm 5'8". So these are already low, She does want to take the molding off of this side too. So that'll be interesting. But it already looks so much better. So the kitchen was pink at one point. Oh, that's just... Oh, are you joking? Oh, I'll show her that. I didn't do that. I wonder if that's where her leak is coming from, though. That will be an open outlet now for her that she can use. That was literally in her cupboard. Who uses a kitchen, an outlet in the cupboard? I don't get it. Spiderwebs, cool. Patience. I think one thing that people are so hesitant about when they are going to be redoing their kitchen cabinets is the fact that your kitchen is an absolute mess. But that is where I designate either another countertop or a tabletop that is just designated to my mess until I am done with the makeover. So I know, and anyone that I am around that lives with me knows, hey, the mess on that table, yes, is from the kitchen, but it's actually not a mess. It's organized chaos, and it will be put right back right after I finish this up. So another way to not get stressed out or overwhelmed by a project like this is to designate your mess into one area. And go. Yeah, that one does have water damage. So this, you can see in the camera, but in person you really can't see it. But it's from this cabinet, I think, directly being over this sink. One thing I wish I did that when I was doing my research, was thinking, why would you need to label your cabinets? They all go in one spot. They all have hinges on one side, and it really shouldn't be that difficult. Well, fun fact, I felt like such a nincompoop not labeling them on the inside with some painter's tape, like left to right, or however, whatever code you want to do to make your life way easier with this portion, because this took Lindsay and I way longer than it should have. So label your drawers however you can to remember where they go. You will notice that I have black circle knobs on this side of the kitchen, and then on the kitchen that Holly was designing the extension, she has those pulls. The reason being is because I wanted to show you how much a difference could be just switching out the hardware that fits the hole that is already there in your cabinet front versus having to add another hole, resize, relocate your hardware to do drawer pulls. So don't come at me that they're mismatched. I did it more so to show you a budget-friendly version versus having to put more work and more money, more time, more tools in that maybe you don't have. I really hope that you guys are taking some tips and tricks away that other videos don't have inside of them, because as I was watching them, a lot of them seemed too picture perfect for me and didn't really tell you the nitty-gritty side of things. For instance, how frustrated I got, how deflated I got, and how sore I was really made this process for me a little bit unbearable. So watching other tutorials where they're like, yeah, A, B, C, and D, and then your kitchen cabinet's already done. No, for me, that was not the case. It was a fun experience once Lindsay came into the picture, and that is why I am reminding you over and over again. It is key to have a partner in DIY from the get-go with something like this. It will make it so much easier, so much more relaxing, and I honestly think it will speed up the process as well. This kitchen legitimately has not changed for 10 years. And so doing a makeover like that is going to be overwhelming. Break it down how I did. Part 1, I added the add-on. Part 2, I'm just painting the kitchen cabinets and solely focusing on that. And part 3 is where I come in, add new shelving, organize it, and truly have the kitchen reflect Holly now versus having it stay Holly 10 years ago. So much has changed, and you should be updating your space accordingly. Oh my gosh, you guys, I want to say that this has been fun. This has been great. I love this DIY, but the reason I have avoided this every time you guys comment is because it is not something that I want to do. But we did it. We're here, and now you get a kitchen makeover out of it in part 3. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your tips and tricks down below if you've painted kitchen cabinets and I'm doing something wrong. We will be updating the hardware, but I just wanted to show you what simple hardware updates would do if you didn't have the means to install like 2 holes versus 1 hole. So that's why there's the black simple hardware, is to show you don't have to necessarily get pulls if you don't want to, but that is what we're gonna do in part 3. So, oh, look at Callie. I really wanted to apologize that I didn't put out an episode last week. I know that you guys don't really mind, and you're going to comment down below, like, take your time, but it frustrates me. Fun fact. And side note, I understand that these videos are not what they were at the beginning, the height of my breakup, but that is because we were finishing a house. So this is a transition period into one of the largest chapters in my life that I cannot wait to share with you. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. I will see you soon for another DIY.